today because we want you to help us, Lord. Help us on our journey. Help us on our way. Lord, while we're praying, we want you to help us, God. We want you to give us direction for our lives, oh God. Speak to our hearts today, Lord. Let your glory continue to fill this place. Let your word fall upon good soil today, Lord. And we bless your name today. In Jesus' name, amen. Oh, come on, give the Lord a hand of praise. Thank you so much, praise team. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I heard that song on YouTube and I asked the different praise teams to learn it. I mean, it really touched my heart because how many of y'all know we need God to help us? Open your Bibles, please, to 2 Timothy. Oh, God is good. Amen. 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7. Hallelujah. Lord, I want you to help me. While I'm praying, I want you to help me. Paul says, I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Today we're going to use for a thought, Lord, I want you to help me on my journey. And one of the most relevant things that Paul said, he said, I have finished my course. Everybody said my course. Not only did he keep the faith, not only did he fight a good fight, but he finished his course. And what we must understand is that we all have a course to run. The Bible said before we were born, God had a plan for our lives. So the bottom line is that we have to find out what is the plan of God for my life. So we know that a course is a route or a direction that is followed. So we have to ask God, Lord, what is your plan for my life? We get so sidetracked watching other folks' lives. Somebody else get married, so we want to get married, but we're not ready to get married. See, you're not ready to get married if you can't submit one to another. You heard what I said, one to another? It's not just the wife submitting to the husband, but it's also the husband submitting to the wife. So if you're not ready to submit one to another, how do I know if I'm not ready to submit to somebody else? If somebody asks you where you've been, and you say, don't be asking me where I've been. You're not my mama. You're not my daddy. See, you're not ready for that. See, we want to go to a new job, and we haven't learned how to cope. We don't have the coping skills to deal with the people on the current job. We want to change from one area of our lives and do something different, but we haven't learned how to cope where we are. How many of you know you got to pass the test on the level you're on before you can go to the next level? So the bottom line, we have to ask God to help me to finish my course. Church, divine direction makes a difference. How many of you know it makes a difference when God is leading you? The Bible said the steps of a good man is ordered by the Lord, and he delighted in his way. How many of you know when God leads you, it's going to be real easy? You may have to grind, you may have to press, but one thing about it, when God leads you in an area, even though you have trials, even though you have storms, even though situations arise, God gives you the grace for where you are. There isn't anything like having grace for where you are. See, grace for where you are means that my tolerance level is there to deal with the things I have to deal with. See, if you don't have grace for where you are, you're going to lose your mind. You're going to want to fight folks. You're going to be mad for no reason. You're going to be angry for no reason. But church, we can make decisions with God's divine direction, or we can make decisions without his direction. I am a living witness. It's a whole lot easier when God is with you. I am a living witness that things happen a whole lot faster when God is with you. As I said earlier, Psalm 37:23 said, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighted in his way. In other words, because God is altering my steps, it may not be easy, but I'm going to delight in my way. I'm going to enjoy the ride. Yes, there are going to be challenges. Yes, there are going to be trials. Yes, there are going to be difficulties, but God will give me grace to sustain me in that season. How many of you know God wants to give us direction for our lives. How many of you believe that? He wants to give us directions for our lives, but we must make choices. We must make choices. And a lot of time our choices, sadly to say, is based on how we feel. Never make a choice based on how you feel. You may have gotten up on the wrong side of the bed. You may have drank the wrong Kool-Aid this morning. You may have had the wrong thing in your sugar this morning. You may have taken too much sugar. Never base things on how you feel. We base a whole relationship on how we feel. You wake up one morning, I don't love you no more. Then tomorrow, I love you. The bottom line, church, we can't base our decisions, our choice. We base our happiness on how we feel. We say, I'm happy because I'm feeling good about my life today. Tomorrow, I'm sad because I don't feel good about my life today. Can I get somebody just to thank God for life? The bottom line, we cannot make choices based on how we feel. We cannot make choices based on how things look. We cannot make choices based on who is on our side. Church, Israel got stuck in the wilderness because they were upset because they made choices based on how they felt. They felt like it was too hot in the desert. They felt like that they didn't have adequate provisions. They felt like they wanted more food to eat. But how many know God had them on a diet that would preserve them in the desert? But when they said we want meat, God gave them meat. And how many know many of them died because it wasn't a good place to be eating what they were eating? But God gave them the desire of their heart. How many of you know God got you where you are for a reason? God's doing what he's doing for a reason. You may be on a diet right now in the spirit realm, but God's getting you ready for something bigger and better. You may be going through in the spirit realm, but God's getting you ready for something that's bigger and better. See, God is leading me. He's directing me. The song said, Lord, help me on my journey. Lord, help me on my way. Hebrews 12:6 said we got to run with patience the race that is set before us. And I know it's hard to be patient. We go to the bank, we don't want to wait. We go to the restaurant, we don't want to wait. We go to the drive-thru at McDonald's, we don't want to wait. We go to the dry cleaners, we don't want to wait. We go to the grocery store, we don't want to wait. But how many of you know waiting is necessary because everybody else is trying to get just what you're trying to get. And God got a way of putting us in a wait zone for a season. If you're in a wait zone, I want to encourage you, don't get upset right now. Don't get weary right now. Don't get mad right now. But the Bible said, be not weary in well doing, for in due season you shall reap if you faint not. Look at somebody and say, wait for God to do it. The song says, Lord, while I'm praying, help me to hold on. The bottom line, church, we must understand that God has a plan for our life. Before you and I was born, God had a plan for our life. And because the enemy recognizes that there's a plan for our life. See, because we got angels all around us and we got something around us called God's favor. And if you don't know it or not, I want you to know that the enemy sees the angels that's around you. He sees the favor of God that's on you. So yes, the enemy is going to attack. But the Bible said many are the affliction of the righteous, but my God should deliver me from every one of those attacks. So the bottom line, look at somebody and say, wait for God. We can't get mad because things are not working out like we want them to work out. Church, we need direction for our future. Psalm 127:1 says, unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain. You can do, see, when I'm not doing it in his will, I can kill myself and wear myself out, but I'm going to find that no progress is being made. See, when I'm in his will, it may take a little while sometimes, but guess what? I'm going to reap the fruit of my harvest. Why? Because I'm not laboring in vain, because God is with me. The bottom line, you got to understand, we got to know that we have to seek God's face for direction for our life. We can't just live our lives and continually do it our way. The Bible says there's a way that seemeth right unto man, but it's not the way of God. If we're going to trust him, if we're going to seek his face, church, the first thing we have to do, look at somebody and say, trust him. Come on, tell somebody, trust him. See, you can't accomplish anything in life without trusting God. The Bible said, trust God with all thy heart and don't lean to your own understanding. Now, trust him mean I may not understand. Trust and understanding doesn't have anything to do with each other. Trust me that I just got to trust God that he's going to work it out. Understanding means I need to know how he's going to work it out. I always share a story of y'all. With y'all when we left for Katrina, my oldest sons were teenagers, and we was in this Navigator, all our stuff, didn't know what was going to damage during that time. But even the young kids were concerned. And I heard them in the back, he ain't got no money. I just was like, they said, where are we going? He ain't got no money. I just was laughing at her. I said, even they're concerned. But how many of you know Daddy worked it out? The bottom line is that I didn't have to give them an explanation as to what we had, what we had it, what we was going to do, how we was going to do it. All I needed them to do was trust me and understand that everything going to be all right. And that's how God is, church. God wants us to understand that everything is going to be all right. You don't have to try to figure it out because God then already worked it out. Now, if you believe it's already worked out, I need you to give God some praise in here. Oh, come on, I didn't say patty cake him. If you believe that God has already worked your situation out, I need you to give him some praise. Turn here with me, church. You have to turn here. I need you to turn here. 2 Kings chapter 3, verse 8. I need to tell you this story because this is where the bulk of our message is going to come from. 2 Kings chapter 3. Verse 8 through 11. Once you get it, say amen. 2 Kings chapter 3, verse 8 through 11. The Bible said, and he said, well, let's go to, well, I'll explain it to you. I don't have a lot of time. The Bible said, and he said, which way shall we go up? And he answered, the way through the wilderness of Edom. So the king of Israel went, and the king of Judah, and the king of Edom, and they fetched a compass of 7 days' journey, and there was no water for the hosts and for the cattle that followed them. And the king of Israel said, alas, that the Lord had called these 3 kings together to deliver them into the hand of Moab. But Jehoshaphat said, is there not a prophet of the Lord, that we may inquire of the Lord by him? And one of the king of Israel's servants answered and said, here is Elijah. Yes, here is Elijah. He lives here. Look at me for one moment. What was going on here? This story is so relevant to the message. The king of Israel, Jehoram, who had stopped following the Lord and stopped following false gods. And then there was the king of Judah, Jehoshaphat, who was the king of Judah, which was a couple of tribes, and Israel consisted of 10 tribes. Well, Jehoram had an agreement with Moab. And as long as his daddy was living, Moab was a nation. They honored the agreement. The agreement was this, to show you how relevant it is. Every year, they would give them 100,000 rams and 100,000 lambs. That's a lot. That's a lot of meat. That's a lot of wool. That's a lot of lambs and rams that can produce more rams and lambs. So when his father died, Jehoram, king of Israel, father died, the king of Moab said, we're not going to do it anymore. So Moab said, I'm going and get in an alliance. I need help. I can't fight them by myself. He went to Jehoshaphat. He said, will you come to battle with me against this nation? Jehoshaphat said, your enemy is my enemy, your friend is my friend. He asked Jehoshaphat, which way shall we go? Jehoshaphat said, let's go through the wilderness. Well, in the wilderness, Ephraim lived in the wilderness. So Ephraim, once they went through the wilderness, Ephraim said, gave them passageway, and they said, we'll join you also. So it was 3 kings going to fight up against 1 king, because they had to get back what was promised to them. So when they went to fight them, The first thing that happened, they said we're going to take a 7-day journey. They said it should only take us 7 days to get there and finish the job. But how many of you know it took longer than 7 days? That's what happens when we assume stuff and we don't get God's direction. How many of us, just like them, just assume that God would do stuff in a certain time frame? Just assume that God was in our plan and we never consulted him. Just assume that God told me marry Billy and God told me marry Susie. Just assume that God told me to go this way and that way and never prayed and never talked to God about the situation. The Bible said the king of Israel got so upset. He said, certainly God has brought us here to die. And we're going to lose our lives. That's the next thing that happens when we assume stuff and we don't include God in our plan. We start making negative confessions and want to blame it on God. It ain't God's fault you're in the situation you're in. Look at somebody and say, it's not God's fault. You never prayed to him. You never talked to him. You never asked him about it. You just assumed that this was the will of God. So then, after this happened, King Jehoshaphat, who was the only one still serving God, said, is there a prophet in the house, in the area? One of the servants said, Elisha lives in the area. They went and got Elisha. When Elisha got there, he looked at the king of Israel. He said, won't you go pray to your God and let your God help you? If it was not for Jehoshaphat, I would not have come. And I would not have even put myself in this situation to be a helping hand to you. And the first thing Elisha said in verse 15, Elisha said, bring me a minstrel. In other words, he said, I need somebody to give God some praise on the instrument so I can worship my God. Oh, you ought to be shouting right now. When I'm trying to tell you, if you want a word from God, I dare you just to get into a worship atmosphere. I dare you just to start praising him. Can I get somebody right now just to wave your hand and say, Lord, I love you today? See, that's our problem. We want to go to God and say, give me, give me, give me. But God said, I need you every now and then to acknowledge who I am. I need you every now and then to give me a little praise. I need you every now and then to give me a little worship. I always share a story about y'all because it's so relevant to this, so I'm going to say it again. When we were kids, we did this to my father all the time. We went around there and said, give me dollar, give me dollar, give me dollar. And daddy said, son, look, when you come around, speak to Miss Pat, his girlfriend at that time, and say hey to me. Don't just come around asking me for $1. He said, hey, Pat, hey, daddy, give me dollar. That's how it went, y'all. This is a true story. The bottom line is that he wanted me to acknowledge him. And our biggest problem, we go to God and we just go to God, give me God. We go to God when we're sick. We go to God when we're tired. Every other time we give him a knick-knack, paddywhack, thank you, Lord. But I need some real worshipers like David to understand that every now and then you ought to just take out some time and thank him for how good he's been to you. Every now and then you ought to take out some time and thank him for being a healer, and thank him for being a way maker, thank him for being a provider. Every now and then you ought to thank him for your grace. I don't know about you, but I got a whole lot of grace that God has released in my life. I got a whole lot of mercy that God has released in my life. As anybody can testify that God's been a friend to you, won't you wave your hand if he's been a friend to you? Has God been a way maker for you? Can I get somebody just to testify if God's been a way maker for you? Has God been a healer for you? I need somebody to testify if God's been a healer for you. Sit down just for one moment. So the story goes on. After Elisha prayed, I want you to understand something. Look what God told him. How many of you, every now and then God tell us to do stuff that just don't make sense? The Bible said God told Elisha to tell them, I want you to dig a whole bunch of dishes in the valley. Look at somebody, say it's digging time. Oh, we about to shout in a moment. Tell somebody, high five somebody, say it's digging time. Oh, come on, tell somebody who believes, tell them it's digging time. God said, I want you to tell them to dig some ditches in the valley. Now, you got to understand, church, we're in the desert. You got to understand it don't rain in the desert. You got to understand that there's no streams in the desert. You got to understand there's no way for water to get to the ditches in the desert. But you also got to understand that the men been without water for over 7 days. That the horse has been without water for over 7 days. You ever asked a tired person who was thirsty, who was hot and sweaty to do something for you? Can you imagine what those men felt like when Elijah told them to tell the men to dig? Can you imagine what it was like telling their men to dig? Can you imagine men digging ditches in the valley? It's hot, I'm sweaty, I haven't had nothing to drink, my body is weak, I don't have no vitamins, no nutrition in my body. The Bible said they begin to dig ditches in the valley. It did not make sense. But the next morning, God filled the ditches with water. What I'm trying to tell you, whatever you're dealing with, you got to settle in and dig in. Look at somebody, say, dig in. Come on, tell 3 people, say, dig in. Come on, say, God got something great for you. Dig in. Don't get weary right now. You got to dig in. See, when they dig, the first thing they did by digging in, they activated their faith. They activated their faith and they believed God. Do what you can do, church, and let God do the rest. Let me hear somebody say, I'm going to do what I can do and let God do the rest. So they did what they could do and God did the rest. Number 2, they did not focus on the situation. Look, shake it off, whatever you came in here with today. I know things are tough right now, but I need somebody just to shake it off. Don't worry about this week because this week is over. Don't worry about last night because last night is over. Don't worry about what happened 5 minutes ago because it's over. Can I get somebody to testify to somebody? Say, you better shake it off. Number 3, they did what was impossible, and God made the impossible possible. How many of you know today you may have an impossible situation, but we serve a God who can make impossible situations possible when you put it in the master's hand. I know it may not be possible in man's sight because man may have given up on you. Anybody ever had somebody give up on them? Can you testify by waving your hand because you know that God didn't give up on you? Anybody ever had some dreams that seem unreachable? Can you wave your hand because you know as long as God is on your side, it's still reachable? Look what Elijah told them. Elijah said, this is but a small thing for God. Whatever you're dealing with today, it's small for God. Impossibilities become possible when it's in the master's hand. It's a small thing for God to do it. The Bible said the ditches filled up. God can cause you to reach your dreams, even if it appears to be unreachable in your situation. Your hopeless situation may turn out to be your next miracle. Your hopeless situation today, church, may turn out to be your next miracle. God will take your wretchedness, your mistakes, he will take my faults, and he will turn them into vessels of honor when we put them in the master's hand. Church, are you facing your wilderness today? Do you need, everyone is standing, do you need a healing today? Do you need a miracle today? Do you need God's direction? Praise team, come sing that song again. Lord, I need you to help me. I need you to help me on my journey. I need you to help me on my way. Somebody needs direction from the Lord today. Somebody is saying, Pastor, I'm in a place in my life today. If God don't help me, I can't stand the storm. If the Lord don't fix it, I don't know how it's going to be fixed. The song said, while I'm praying, I need you, Lord, to help me. Help me on my journey. Help me on my way. If you need direction from the Lord today, I need you to run to the altar. If you need direction, if you need direction,